Hey everybody, this is John Casmon here with Brie, Schmidt, and Jim Biggs, and we are here talking about the Midwest Real Estate Networking Summit we just had. Brie, you were there. First time we've done it in 4 years. What were your thoughts on the event?
It was amazing seeing everyone in person again, right? I love these sort of events and thrive off the energy and the relationships that are built at them. So it was really great to be back. It was great to be back, not being pregnant on stage, um, and seeing everyone in person.
Yeah, listen, I thought it was fun, and obviously a lot of work goes into putting these events together. We had a lot of great speakers, a lot of great partners who helped us do this event. And you're right. I mean, it's 4 years. You were pregnant the last time. You've got two kids now. I mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy, right? You didn't have any kids the first time we did it. Now you got two kids, and my boys are getting bigger, right, and run around, going to school, and all that kind of stuff, and time flies, but it's so good to go back and reconnect with people. And one of the people, right here with us is Jim Biggs, right? And Jim, I think the first time we did this event, that's kind of where we started our connection. We met each other before that, but I think that event was really where we started crystallizing our connection. And you have gone on to build a beautiful and powerful network, the GOB network. But Jim, talk to us about kind of your experience at the event, knowing that you've attended multiple Midwest summits.
Yeah, it was first off so good to be back in person and to see everyone again in person. And I was as amazed about the number of new connections that were there and that we made, in addition to seeing, all the great speakers and lineup. You guys continue to just amaze with the lineup that you have at these events. And it was at the first event where I started trying to pull together all my thoughts and start something that was really a mission for me, kind of a passion. And we started the GOB Network as a nonprofit educational platform, not with really the thought of being a thought leader. The way Joe's always inspiring everyone to do and has done such a great job of it, but just to try to make sure that we could give back to the community. And we want, for the people that can't afford to join one of these programs, we want to make sure we're providing a platform for them. And for people that just may want to put more of their time and energy into a solo project, and they don't want to be part of a bigger group, and so I've got 30 grand, but I'm going to put it in the apartment and just try to bootstrap. And that's really, I think, where we are for most of our membership. It's a bootstrapping type of organization. It's a membership that we've grown in the last 2 years to 1,600 people. It's a closed membership. You can only get in by invitation. So you have to know someone who's already a member of the GOB network in order to get in. There's a real low cost barrier to get in. The cost is participation. That's all we ask, is if you're participating actively, because we find that that's, unfortunately, fear and lack of action are the two biggest things holding most investors back, including myself. I wake up with fear every morning. I have to push myself to action every day. So that's why that's the cost of entry. We want to make sure that you're taking action. And we're in the process of gamifying our website to measure that participation. But you can also come in and spend 30 grand with us, and we'll take 5 grand of it to support the nonprofit. And the first deal that you get, we'll put 25 grand back in your pocket and back in your deal. But that's kind of to measure your level of commitment. And I've seen so many people form these partnerships at the summit, at the Midwest Real Estate Network Summit. So we have Windy City REI as a perfect example. They're really doing great things, and they're an affiliate member of the GOB network and hold a monthly meetup. And I've seen, everyone at your meetup, even through COVID, continue to grow and continue to add new members. So yeah, we're just excited to bring these events to the greater Chicagoland area, and extremely happy that we're doing it with you guys.
That's a perfect example. Did you know that Windy City REI started because they all met randomly at our summit a couple years ago?
Yes, I did.
So
And
that's a perfect example of taking action, right?
yes, it is.
They attended our summit. They got so much value out of the experience, but wanted something more than a once a year event, right? These once a year events are phenomenal for boosting your energy, reinvigorating your ideas and your career, and your journey within real estate. But then they took it a step further and said, we loved this so much, we want it to be more ongoing, and created a meetup around that. So that's a perfect example of taking action, right? And using the things that you learned. One of the things that Joe Fairless, who was a speaker at our event, talked about was like writing down takeaways, right? Journaling, making sure that you are visualizing your goals. So it's one of the things that we encourage with our attendees is write down what you learned from this event, right? Write down what actionable steps you can take moving forward. Put it up on your wall, put it somewhere that you look at it every day, right? Whether it's, 30 days from now or 60 days from now or 6 months from now, right? Keep going back to those goals and what you wanted to accomplish, right? And make it top of mind.
Yeah, I think what's amazing there is what you just hit on, right? The fact that this event can be the catalyst for the new version of you that you want to see. And you heard Jim talk about the fears and the challenges, and we all face them, right? We all face fears
Definitely.
and challenges and doubts and imposter syndrome and things like that. But if you can overcome that, the sky is the limit. Ray Hagan talked about, achieving unreal dreams, right? And setting the bar very high for yourself and how to achieve those dreams. And it takes courage, it takes steps. And part of it is the very first step, signing up for something, signing up, buying that ticket, registering, attending the event, listening to people who have succeeded and understanding what it took for them to succeed. And the thing that's really cool to me is not just hearing about the success, but hearing about the failure. Because a lot of times we put these people on a pedestal, right? We see this super successful investor, and I'm sure all of us like to show our highlights, right? You go to my Instagram or anything like that, I'll show you the best of me, right? You're going to see the cool deal we just closed. You're going to see, me looking like a great father and all that kind of stuff. You're not going to see, the headaches and the challenges and the pain points. And we had a lot of speakers talk about that, how they were able to come through it, how they were able to get through the hardships. And a lot of it is that mentality, and it's building up that mental toughness. It's surrounding yourself with good people, with mentors, coaches, with people who are partners who can help you stay focused. And a lot of those little tricks and insights can be the difference between being successful and giving up. And I think a lot of that comes into, how do you keep that momentum going? Because it's great to get invigorated at a conference, and we love that. But after about 2 or 3 weeks, that excitement's going to wane down a little bit. So how do you
Yeah.
stay motivated? Bree, for yourself, like what are some tips or things that you think investors should do to kind of keep that energy level high and stay motivated coming out of this event?
A few things, right? Attend other events, right? That's another way to do it. Like I love the event circuit. I'm so glad that our events are back in person. John and I have talked about this, extensively, that we met at different events in San Francisco and in Denver before we decided to start the Midwest Summit. That was one of the reasons, right? As we were traveling a few times a year and there was nothing like this in Chicago. So attending other events, right? It doesn't need to be events in other cities or that matter, but even local meetups, right? Getting involved with your community is one way to keep that energy and momentum going. Again, another thing is to write down your goals, right? Network with other attendees. The app that we use for the event, Wova, is available for the next 3 months. So you can still post on the community board, right? Ask questions and answers, or network through the app. If you're looking for a new contact, right? Post in the forums, right? Get some answers. Stay involved with the community.
Jim, what are your thoughts?
I think that several things that you guys already hit on, I'll just reemphasize that app cost a lot of money. And it's a
It's worth it
difficult.
though.
It is worth it if you're going to take advantage of it and take some action. One of the beautiful things that they've improved, it used to only save your contact inside the Hoover app, and now it allows you the option to download it to your phone. And so it's a great way for you guys to make those connections. It's easily as powerful as LinkedIn for making business connections. And for the next 3 months, you should take advantage and try to connect with as many people as you possibly can that are part of the event. And if you want to really maximize your return on investment for attending, then how many people are you going to call each day or get on a Zoom call with each day that you met? And that goes back to what Ray Higdon said. And Ray is a man of his word. Within an hour of him leaving Chicago, he had already texted me and said, hey, it was great to meet you. Let's reconnect. And if you're doing that, even the smallest action, one person a day, that's 365 new contacts that you can find, a partnership, a limited partner, a general partner, a KP, someone that will help you get a deal done. And so there's so many benefits if you'll just stay engaged and stay involved.
I think those are so powerful. And I want to make sure people take a minute and actually process it, because Ray talked about taking ownership of that process. Don't just hand out a business card. Don't just tell someone, hey, it's great to meet you. Let's stay in touch. Take the time and actually reach out to that individual. And you're right. Ray walks the walk, talks the talk. He did the same with me. He sent me a couple audio messages, after the event. I've had another conversation with his team. And I think that's just so important to understand, like, how do you actually build relationships? Because 90% of the people won't do that. You'll sit there, you'll have lunch with them. Hey, man, it's great to meet you. Cool. Let's stay in touch. And then you never hear from that person again, right? Because you're waiting on them to reach out to you. Take control of that process, reach out to individuals, set up lunch, set up a quick call, but take advantage of that. And you have the ability right now for the next 3 months to go into Hoover, find those individuals that you talk to, connect with them, take it off of, the app, get either on social media, get connected, but I like the text or a phone call. Like, let's find a time to really connect in real life. And what's interesting is, kind of the way the three of us are connected. Brie, you used to host your meetup. And I tell people that I came to your meetup. It wasn't even your meetup at first, right? It's someone else's meetup. You came all the time. They basically like, hey, you're here all the time. Why don't you run this? Right? You started running it. I started showing up. And because you ran it, you were there all the time. I showed up pretty consistently. So because I saw you every month, we started talking more. And as I saw
we had
what you
lunch
were
that
doing
one
in
day.
your journey, we had lunch. And we had lunch. I don't even know if I know I've told this story to a lot of people, but I don't know if you and I actually have had this conversation. But I remember you had a 3-unit property when I first met you. You went from 3 units to 9 units. And I was like, man, this is impressive. And between that time, I bought my first duplex. And I was like, okay, she's got 9 units, crushing it. That's amazing. I don't think I really talked to you about your portfolio for maybe 9 months or something like that, maybe a year. And the next time we did have that conversation, you told me you had 90 units. And I was floored. I was like, what? And in my head,
I went from 0 to 60. Let me tell you.
I couldn't get over it. I could not understand how you could go from 9 to 90 in such a short time frame. I mean, to the point, it just stuck with me. And finally, I said, I have to know the answer to this riddle. So I invited you to, I think we went to breakfast at that spot over there on
Danny's.
Irvin Park. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm expecting you to tell me your grandfather passed away and left you like $10 million or something, right? And that's not what you said. You said you had some investors out west who were looking to partner with you.
Who I met at a conference.
That you met at a conference. And I was, and two things happened to me. I was shocked that these random investors would want to invest with you. 2, I was trying to figure out, like, is this real? Like, does this happen? Like, is this a real thing that happens? Like, these magical investors will decide to invest with you. And it really helped me start my journey, because you're the only person that I met in real life who had gone out and raised money. You read about it in books, right? And you listen to podcasts and things like that. But I share this because you have to be able to see it. And part of the way you're able to see it is by getting out there and making connections with new people. If you're expecting the friend or your neighbor to go out there and open your eyes to this world of investing and all the different possibilities, it's probably never going to happen. But if you're out there networking, if you're attending events, if you're listening to the strategies that other people are employing, well, now you can break it down and get it down to kind of the brass tacks and understanding the nuances of what it takes to be successful. And that really helped me shift my mindset because I was all about, I'm going to save whatever I have, and whatever I have is what I can invest with. And in talking to you and realizing, okay, there is another way to go out there and invest. We can work with other people. What do I need to do? I need to educate myself more. I need to bring on better partners or improve my credibility. I need to build my confidence. So all those were the things that I started working on, and we've been able to raise a lot of money for a lot of deals, over $100 million worth of real estate at this point. But it wouldn't have been possible if I wasn't surrounding myself with the right kind of people who were showing me how to scale. And Jim, same thing for you, man. When we met, and I know we went to dinner the first time, and you were starting out, and building your portfolio. And you've not only built this massive portfolio, but you built this GOB network with over 1,600 people. And I just say that story because it's important for people to understand the origin. The origin is, at some point, you've got to make that first decision. And that first decision for many people is attending an event like the Midwest Real Estate Networking Summit. But you can't stop there. You have to follow it up with the next step. So, what is the next step for you? What's the next step for you on your journey? For Jim, I know you've kind of expanded this now with the GOB network with different opportunities. For people who want to continue to grow, continue that education, what are some of the opportunities that you and the GOB network have to offer?
So if you are a member, we do have a private calendar of events that we host. They're mostly virtual events, Zoom events.
How much is this membership, by the way?
Well, the membership, if you're participating, is not going to cost you anything financially, but it is going to cost you time. You're going to have to put in effort and be involved. And as long as you can prove that you want to take action, then you don't need to pay us to be a member. You just need to come in and take action. And taking action is so simple, folks, but it's so hard. We have to break up our daily routine. We are creatures of habit. Most of us have a routine we go through, and it's, we have dreams, but the dreams don't fit into the routine, and we have to make changes, and that's really hard. But if you can just make one small change to take some action to achieve your dream, it doesn't matter that whether you get there 1 to 60 as fast as Brie did, because Brie is an unnatural human being. She is so full of energy. She has so much charisma. And, I'm not trying to say things come easy for her, because she has to take massive action, but she is a person of massive action. And most of us are not. And most of us cannot be that person. Most of us are living and walking in our fear and our imposter syndrome, and thinking that we just don't know enough. And I guarantee you, you will never know enough to do this. You'll never know enough to be good at it. But if you just take one step, one action item every single day, you will get there. It may take you a little bit longer, but you will get there. And the best thing you can possibly do is to continue to engage with other people, whether in person. If you're local here in Chicago, John has a meetup every month. Windy City has a meetup every month. You can go on different platforms and find meetups in your city and go out and meet other real estate investors trying to do what you're trying to do. And there's no reason for you not to succeed. The only thing that's standing in your path is not a giant boulder that you can't move. It's yourself. That's the only thing. It's yourself. And you've just got to find a way to get outside your comfort zone, even if it's only the smallest action, but you've got to do it consistently. And we're going to try to continue to stay engaged on the Hoover app, and we will continue to stay engaged through John's meetup and Windy City's meetup. So if you were at the event, then let's build that community. And, we have online presence on the different social media platforms. Brie is a very, very busy businesswoman and mom, and she's not able to be out, in person as much as she was when she went from 0 to 60. But you can still engage through social media because she's still there. So if you didn't get to meet her, or if you didn't get to meet John, then go on to some of the platforms and find where they are hanging out and say hi. Take that action to virtually shake our hand or give us a hug and say hello. And we want to give back. We want to make sure that we can help you stay actively engaged, because we want to see you again next year at the event. And we want you to bring a friend with you to the event. And we want you to get a massive return on that investment. But it's up to you how you're going to do that.
Absolutely right. I said I've already got 3 calls scheduled this week from attendees that I had just met at the event and never talked to before, that, we're going to explore, new opportunities together, right? That's the point of all this, is to learn from each other, right? We all have stories like, how John and I met, how we've grown our business and gotten new ideas. That was one of the reasons why I was so looking forward to this event. I had actually just sold a huge chunk of my portfolio and didn't know what I wanted to do next. So everyone kept asking me, what's next for you? And my answer always was, I'll let you know after the event, right? The point of this for me was to get ideas. And one of the things I love that we did this year is we had a lot of speakers that were outside of the norm for us, right? We had, talking about hotels, right? Talking about hotel investing, talking about turning your residential assets into assisted living facilities, talking about laundromats, car washes, right? On top of and then obviously we had, multifamily syndication, all these different topics were a sampler platter, in my opinion, right? Of new ideas and learning what worked for other people and how to then apply that into my own business and grow myself.
Yeah, I think what's really cool is that even though you may have kind of a core investing strategy, for me at least, I'm always looking to learn and understand what else is out there and what other people are doing, either because
Yeah.
it informs what I'm doing and maybe there's a way to incorporate that, or there might be something else I want to do, maybe with money I have in retirement account or other things. And I will tell you, I was super surprised with myself that one of the highlights of the event for me was listening to Isabel Guarino talk about residential assisted living. Before the event, I had no interest really in residential assisted living, but her presentation was amazing. And as a matter of fact, when she was done, there was just a group of people who were talking to her right off the stage. I mean, we went to lunch after that, and they were talking for like 20, 25 minutes. And finally she was like, all right, can we let her eat for a minute? But great information, and it's a great strategy that maybe people aren't familiar with. And I thought she did a great job of breaking down those initial barriers that investors may have. So we have her presentation, and that's up in the drive. So we'll make sure we share that with everyone. And then we also have some of the video content as well. But just, I loved a lot of the speakers, but it's sometimes amazing when you get surprised by either the content that someone has or a speaker that just kind of blew you away in a way that you weren't really expecting. Brie, what were some of your other highlights from the event?
I mean, the 3 big takeaways for me were, the different strategies involved, right? Outside of just the regular boring. I always say, like, my investing strategy has been very boring, right? I buy, I hold, I sell when it's profitable for me. There was so many speakers talking about, little tweaks they made to their business, or, little side hustles, we'll call them, to really increase their revenue and have multiple streams of income. That was extremely important, right? The other takeaway to me, and one of the biggest things of feedback we got, was that they really liked that the speakers did deep dives. There's a lot of conversations about with spreadsheets, right? Actual numbers, case studies, right? This is how I did it, not just a high level overview, but the actual details, as well as stories sharing, when people fell.
I loved the talk that Brendan Schlichter had about investing in boring businesses.
Yeah.
I love the fact that this year, outside of just real estate, we've seen how people are making money in a lot of different areas. So, you try something, you get started, maybe you love it, maybe you don't, but I really enjoyed how we had the opportunity to see people succeed in other areas and say, there's not just one way, and you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into being one type of investor. Try a few of these things, start off small. Brie didn't start out buying, 60 units. She started out buying a single duplex. So start small and grow exponentially. She goes from a 2 to a 4 to an 8. That's a safe way to invest. And so I really related. I'm a poor hillbilly kid and will always be in my mindset. I'm always poor, barefoot, and holes in my jeans. And Brandon came from a similar background, and he's wildly successful. He's a millionaire doing boring things. So you can do it too.
Love that. Hey, Brie, we've got a couple of announcements. Do you want to let the people know what we've got coming up here?
Yeah, so we are very excited to announce that the Midwest Networking, fuck me, man. Let's start that over again. Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're very excited to announce that the Midwest Real Estate Networking Summit is coming back February 24th and 25th of 2024. So we have those dates set, and we will have updates coming in the next few months as far as who our lineup is going to be.
I love it. So here we go. February 24th, 25th. Save the date. We'll make sure we get you all the information for that. So we're excited there. And in the meantime, we have a lot of the content from the event. If you want to go into that, we'll make that available. In addition to that, like Jim and Brie have told you, in the Hoover app, you still have access to all the connections, the photos, the meetups, the conversations. Get in there, network, build your connections. I think this is a great kickoff for the next version of you and what your investment business looks like, what your portfolio looks like. So take advantage of this, because we want to hear those great stories, just like we heard from the Windy City REI team and so many other attendees who have been able to grow their business and grow their portfolio by attending events like the Midwest Real Estate Networking Summit. Well, listen, just to wrap this up, I appreciate everyone's time today. Great recap of the Midwest Real Estate Networking Summit. We had some amazing speakers. I just jotted down my list here. Is like Jay Papasan, the author of The One Thing, Ray Higdon, Brandon Schlichter, Charles Yarber, Joe Fairless, Ashley Wilson, Isabel Guarino, Mike Ely. Man, this list just goes on and on. Andrew Holmes, Rashana Scott. Man, what an amazing list of speakers that we had at this event. If you missed it, I don't know what to tell you. But for those who were there, you got some great value from some great individuals. But more importantly, you got a chance to connect with other people who are committed to growing their real estate portfolio and making a difference in their financial future. And those are the people you want to be building connections with and building relationships with, so you can have the same kind of growth that everyone else has had in their business. Brie, Jim, I want to thank you again for doing this video here. I hope this has been helpful and beneficial. The biggest takeaway for me is commit to the future you want to see, what you want to do, and take action now.
And don't forget to check out our partners on our page. These are your resources, right? To help grow your business. These are the SDIRAs, 1031 exchange, different financing lenders, lawyers, right? This is your team building opportunity to help grow.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everyone. Until February 24th, we'll actually see you before then. But February 24th, earmark it, 2024, February 24 to 24. What a beautiful date. I didn't realize that until now. Beautiful date we have for the Midwest Real Estate Networking Summit next year. We'll see you all then.